Imagine having a desire so intense, so alive within you, that the simple act of uttering it could make it disappear. Genevieve Barrand believed that the greatest secrets of creation should not be shouted to the universe, but whispered in the silent language of the mind. She called this the sacred rule of silence, a forgotten principle that can determine whether what you desire will blossom or dissipate before it even begins. In the early 20th century, when few spoke of the mind as a creative force, Genevieve already understood something that science would only confirm decades later. Spoken words are external vibrations, but thoughts kept silent are pure energy, shaping the invisible substance of reality. Today, you will discover why you should never speak your desires aloud, and how the power of silence is, in fact, the true gateway to manifestation. If you feel that there is a greater wisdom guiding destiny, then this is your moment to listen. Take a deep breath, silence yourself inside, and allow Genevieve Barrand's lost teaching to awaken something in you. And before we continue, subscribe to the channel so that this journey of self-knowledge and inner power continues by your side. Video after video, the sacred rule of silence, the mystery behind manifestation. Genevieve Barrand said that words spoken before the right time are seeds sown on dry ground. They may contain power, but without the moisture of inner silence, they will never germinate. For her, silence was not the absence of sound. It was the living presence of the invisible, the vibrant field where all creation originates. The universe, Genevieve said, does not respond to speech, but to the vibration that forms before speech. In that instant when pure thought meets feeling, when you reveal your desire aloud before it matures in your mind, you expose it to currents of doubt, external vibrations, the opinions of the world. The subtle energy of desire fragments, and what was once a concentrated, magnetic field becomes dispersed. That is why Genevieve called silence the womb of creation, a sacred space where thought is nourished by divine power until it is ready to be born into the visible world. She taught that the true creator speaks first to the infinite, and only then to men, because what is whispered to the universal mind in reverence and faith resonates louder than 1,000 words shouted into the wind. Silence, then, is not just discipline, it is alchemy. It is the point where the invisible begins to take shape. And those who master this art do not need to convince the universe, because the universe already hears them, in vibration. The mystery of silence in creation. In a world that celebrates noise, true power lies in silence. Genevieve Barrand understood what few dared to realize. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to the vibration that precedes them. In silence, there are no masks, no displays, no ego. There is only the essence of thought, the pure creative substance still untouched by doubt. It is in this invisible space between one thought and another that creation begins to pulsate. When you speak about your desires before they are consolidated in your mind, you disperse the energy that would sustain them. Each word becomes a spark that is lost in the wind, weakening the inner flame. But when you keep your desire silent, it matures, growing in power, density, and presence. Genevieve said that silence is the womb of manifestation. It is there that the mind and spirit meet in perfect harmony. Nothing needs to be said, because the universe already hears what vibrates within you. Silence is the language of creation. And those who learn to be silent before the world begin to be heard by the invisible, forces that shape reality. What happens when you talk too much about your desires? When Genevieve warned her students never to reveal their desires, she wasn't talking about superstition, she was talking about energy, the invisible structure that sustains all manifestation. Every time you talk about a dream that is still in the making, you divide the force that feeds it. Your words transform the invisible into something analyzable, exposed, vulnerable to the doubts of others and your own. The desire, which previously vibrated in pure silence, now vibrates at a frequency of judgment, expectation, and comparison. The universe does not work in haste. It works with consistency, and consistency is born when thought, feeling, and silence walk together. That is why Genevieve said that spoken desire is like a seed pulled from the earth before it blooms. It still exists, but it has lost the environment where it could transform into life. Words are bridges, But they can also be leaks. When you talk too much, energy slips away through the cracks of sound. But when you keep your desire in the temple of silence, it grows in secret, and the universe, in its own time, reveals it to everyone. Why we shouldn't verbalize our desires. Genevieve Barand said that the power of thought is lost when it is exposed to the judgment of the world. Desire, in its purest form, is living energy, a vibrational current that connects the human mind to the universal mind. But when we put it into words, especially when we share it before it is fully formed, that energy becomes fragmented. Words are symbols, imperfect frames for the invisible. By trying to explain what is still in gestation, we end up opening the cocoon before the butterfly is born. The result is the same. The creation loses the life force that sustained it. Genevieve understood that the mind is a sacred temple, and that not everything that is born there should be exposed to the premature light of others' curiosity. Each desire has a delicate energy field, and when verbalized, it mixes with the vibrations of doubt, envy, disbelief, or fear of others, forces that silently interfere with the creative flow. She taught that to speak is to partially manifest, and by doing so prematurely, we block total manifestation. It is like planting a seed in the ground and digging it up every day to see if it has sprouted. The energy of trust is broken, and the natural process of gestation is interrupted. That is why Genevieve insisted. The power lies in keeping the thought alive within oneself, in communion with the invisible. Silence for her was not passivity. It was condensed spiritual strength, a vibrational state where faith replaces the need for proof. And the universe responds to the silent certainty that dwells in the heart. The true creator does not announce. He vibrates. And when the vibration is ripe, the universe itself takes care of announcing the result. The sacred rule: how to guard your desire without repressing energy. Guarding your desire does not mean suffocating it. It means sanctifying it, making it sacred in the eyes of creation. Genevieve Barand understood the power of withdrawal, the mystery of the invisible that works in silence. The human mind has a natural impulse to share, to seek approval, to explain what it feels. But true creation does not need witnesses. It needs inner testimony. The universe responds to the vibration of being, not to the sound of words. When you keep a desire within yourself, it begins to mature. The energy that was previously dispersed in the outside world condenses, refines, and begins to vibrate with precision. This is the secret that few understand. Manifestation is born in darkness, not in the light of exposure. Close your eyes. Feel desire as a silent flame within your heart. Don't try to control it or hide it out of fear. Just allow it to pulse in rhythm with your being. Notice how the more you contemplate it in silence, the more real it becomes. It's as if the universe begins to recognize this vibration, echoing its frequency in everything that exists. Silence is not emptiness. It is the field where the invisible organizes itself, where the word becomes flesh. By keeping your desire, you do not imprison it. You protect it from the noise of the world until it is mature enough to be born as an experience. Genevieve called this divine incubation, a state where thought and faith unite in absolute stillness, and creation finally happens. The mystery of creative silence. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the sacred language with which the universe speaks to those who dare to listen to. And when Genevieve Barand spoke of creative silence, she was not referring to the simple silencing of the voice, but to an inner state of communion, where the mind ceases the noise of doubt, and the heart tunes in to the invisible intelligence that moves all things. In this silence, desire ceases to be a request and becomes a living vibration of certainty. There is no supplication, no waiting. There is only the quiet awareness of one who has already seen, already felt, and already received, even before the physical eyes witness the result. Creative silence is the space between thought and manifestation. It is the interval where the invisible works, where spiritual substance begins to take shape. But few can bear this space, because it requires total trust. It requires the seeker to walk without proof, only with their inner vision lit. Genevieve understood that this was the point where many failed. not for lack of desire, but for lack of silence. For true power does not shout, it whispers within the being. And those who learn to remain in this state discover that creation happens effortlessly, like the natural blooming of a rose at dawn. So before applying the method, Genevieve invited her students to inhabit this silence, to feel desire as a living force within themselves, but without naming it, without showing it to the world, just sustaining the vibration as one protects a flame from the wind. Because it is in this invisible space, protected by silence, that the invisible begins to become real. Applying creative silence. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply. Let the sound of the world dissolve around you. Genevieve Barrand said that silence is the altar where imagination becomes prayer. So, in this moment, imagine your desire, not as something distant, but as a living presence here. Now, don't try to describe it in words. Just feel it. See it as a luminous form before you. Notice the details, the environment, the feeling of already possessing what you desire. But don't speak, don't tell the world, because every word spoken is a seed exposed to the wind, and the most powerful seeds germinate in the darkness of the earth, where no one can see them. Feel the desire pulsing silently, like a blue flame in the center of your chest. Hold that image for a few seconds, until the emotion of certainty fills your entire being. And then, let go. Let the universe act. This is the secret of silent manifestation. You don't need to convince the universe with words. You need to remind it of the vibration that is already yours. Genevieve called this commanding the universal mind without noise. It is a state where faith ceases to be a mental effort and becomes absolute knowledge. Inner peace, a confidence that requires no proof. When practiced consistently, creative silence completely transforms the energy around you. People, paths, and opportunities begin to align, not because you asked, but because you have become the vibration of what you asked for. Therefore, from today onward, keep your greatest desires in the temple of silence. Feel them, nourish them with faith and emotion, but never expose them to the doubt of others. For the universe responds to the tone of your certainty, not to the volume of your words. And it is in this serene space between thought and manifestation that the invisible begins to reveal itself. Silently, inevitably, as Genevieve Barrand always knew, true power never shouts, it whispers, and only those who have learned to listen to the silence can recognize it. Genevieve Barrand understood something that many seekers still haven't grasped. Manifestation doesn't happen when you speak, but when you become. Every silent thought shapes the invisible, and every pure emotion opens a new path before you. When you stop telling the world what you want, and start feeling it as a reality already present within yourself, everything will change. Because the universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to vibration. So, let this lesson resonate within you. And when the noise of the world tries to distract you, return to the silence. That's where creation happens. If this message resonated with you, if something awakened within you, subscribe to the channel and stay with us on this journey of ancient wisdom and inner power. Because there is much more to be revealed about Genevieve Barrand and about the silent dialogue between you and the universe. The sound of creation is silence, and that's where everything begins.